guys, and welcome back to my channel. So lately I've been traveling quite a lot. I've gotten like a lot of questions about how I do this and if I have any tips and everything like that. So today's video is basically a video all about that. I'm basically going to tell you how you can travel as a teen. I've been traveling quite a lot for someone who is 17 and 16. So first I'm gonna answer some questions and then I'm gonna give you like my own personal tips. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel down below, and let's just get started. Okay, so the first question is dream trip, and I have been talking about this a lot also on YouTube. My dream trip has always been Canada, and then especially Toronto, and I don't really know why. I'm so curious about that city and like Canada in general, and I'm so excited to go there in September. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm actually going there. Like sometimes I'm just like, no, it's not real, you know? But since I'm going there now, my other dream trip would be Australia. How did you meet the people you travel with? I think I met like most of them on Twitter. I think I met basically all of them on Twitter actually. Yeah, probably all of them. Twitter is the place to meet people. How do you save money for traveling? Well, okay, I have different ways. Well, no, actually I don't. Okay, so first I have this little jar in my room, and then every time I have like cash money, I just put it in the jar. I spend less money when it's cash than when it's on my card. So like when I get cash for like maybe babysitting or something, I just put it in the jar and I just try to not touch it again. And I have a job, and then every time I get paid, I do like half of my paycheck into a savings account. I made like a different savings account than from like my usual savings account for like my future. And that's just basically where I put money in for like traveling and concerts. So yeah, just like split your paycheck and then put it in the savings account or in a jar in your room would be my tip for that. Another way I save money is basically, okay, so basically on the weekends you have like Friday night and Saturday night, and like you don't have to go all out with your friends on Friday and Saturday. You can just go out, do something on Saturday, and then on Friday you just either go to someone's home and just be there for free, or you just stay a night at home. I know that's less fun, but if you do that, you are not spending any money, and then you can use that money for traveling, you know? You just have to cut out of a few things. Not that you can't have a social life anymore, but just try to do things that are less expensive. Just the things like that. You just have to be a little more aware of what you're spending. That sounds so wise. I'm not that wise. How to get your parents on board with traveling? I don't know. This has actually always been kind of easy for me, except for Toronto. My parents kind of know that if they say no, that I'm gonna go anyway. I mean, I try. The first time I was gonna travel all by myself, like I explained everything to them. Like I explained when was my flight, what do I do, what do I pack, who's picking me up, and I just explained everything to them, and I wrote everything down, and I just made everything really clear, and that everything was fine and stuff, and that I could do it, and like just call my parents when I was at the airport and when I landed, and just the things like that. And then they agreed, like they agreed with me going because they knew that I would be in good hands and stuff. But I was 16, so I mean, I would have understood if they were like no, but I have just always been interested in traveling, and I think they know that I can do it. You know, I don't really know. It was kind of easy for me to convince my parents, and I know that not everyone's parents are like that. My parents were just like, okay, good luck with that. I mean, as long as I pay for it myself, they're honestly fine with it. Except for Canada, but that's understandable because it's the other side of the world basically. But for Canada, I just also explained everything to them, and like how expensive it would be, and that I would pay for it myself and everything like that, who I was going with and when and how and what. Like just explain everything really clear and let them like see how badly you want it. Because for Toronto, at some point my dad was like, I don't like the fact that you want to go, but I get it, because he knew I really wanted to go, and then he was just like, okay. My tip for this would be to just make everything really clear and like just explain everything. That would make it a lot easier for your parents to like get on board. What's a must in your carry-on? Headphones, because I can't travel without listening to music. That's so boring. So yeah, I would say headphones. And obviously a passport or ID card, because without it you can't really get anywhere. And your phone. But yeah, your passport and your phone are kind of like obvious. I would say headphones. They're just a must when you're traveling, so yeah. How do you know which hotel is the best? Well, basically you don't. Well, it depends. If you know people who have been to that hotel before, then you can ask like people who've been there before. I have to say that I haven't been in a lot of hotels yet, because I usually stay at someone's place or an Airbnb. I literally stayed in a hostel hostel like by myself once in London, and that was just basically because I knew people who were going to be in the same hostel. I would say look at a lot of reviews on the internet. Like if you're, for example, going to London, just ask someone who's been to London before and be like, oh, where did you stay and did you like it and stuff like that. I'm going on a trip with my best friend this summer. We looked for hostels on this app called Hostel World, and we looked for every city which hostel we wanted to go, and then we just looked at the reviews, and then we were just like, you know, let's just book it because we were just going for the cheapest, and if there was a cheap one with like good reviews, we just booked it basically. How do you manage school and trips? I mean, you can study on the plane or the train or the bus. However you are going somewhere, you can study while traveling. I know that it's not fun, and actually I never do it. I try to not go on a trip like really close to exams. Yeah, I did go to Lisbon last year, and that was like a week before my exams, and I had this assignment which was due like 2 days after I got back from Lisbon, so I did do something for that on the plane. But usually I don't really do that. I just try to plan like not with exams, and I'm in college, so I don't really have that much homework. I just have to do a lot for like exams and assignments, but I just try to plan like around that. It doesn't always go that great, but I try. I would say just try to plan around it, and if you can't, just try to bring your homework or something. I don't really know, I don't really know. How do you choose where you want to go? How I choose where I want to go is basically, this is kind of like hard. Like I was gonna go on a trip with my mom last year, and we were like, where do we want to go? We wanted somewhere that had like great weather, and like it was in October, so we came to like Spain and Portugal, and like I've been to Madrid and Barcelona before, so we were just like, we should go to Portugal, and then we were just like, okay, Lisbon. When I was planning my shows for Sean's tour, like before the shows, I knew that I wanted to go to Amsterdam and London because Amsterdam is where I'm from and London is just always really special, and I have always wanted to go to Copenhagen, so that's why I went to Copenhagen. And for Dublin, the only reason why I went to Dublin is because Dublin was a really small venue that was like really intimate, and I found a front row ticket for Dublin, so that's actually why I went to Dublin. But after all, it was a really great decision because it was like my favorite show. Paris is kind of close to me, so it was really cheap, so that's why I went to Paris. My best tip for this would be to just think about where you want to go. Like, is there a place you've always wanted to go to? Is there a place that looks really nice to you? Just, I don't know actually, this is so hard. I just always choose a place that I've like always wanted to go to, you know? What are your priorities when you're planning a trip? That's a really good question. I don't really know. I think that I want to make sure that I can afford it, you know, and that I have like things to do and like people to meet up with, and just things like that. Like make sure that it's a great trip and that nothing is gonna ruin it, I guess. What's your favorite place you've been to? Barcelona, Copenhagen, and London, I think. Yeah. Are your parents okay with you traveling this much and far just to see Sean? Well, the thing is, it's not just to see Sean. Like obviously seeing Sean is like a really great plus point, but it's not just to see Sean, because like for example, when I went to Copenhagen, I enjoyed the city so much. Like it wasn't just to see Sean. Like I saw Sean one night. The other 3 days I just walked around the city and like explored Copenhagen and Denmark. Oh my god. And I explored the police station. How to get as many clothes / stuff in your suitcase as possible. This is something I always struggle with because I'm really not good at packing. I'm honestly the worst packer ever. Like when I went back from London to Amsterdam, I tried to roll my clothes. I know everyone always says that, but I tried it and it actually works. So I would say roll your clothing. Wear like the biggest thing you want to bring on your travel day. Like if you want to bring a sweater, wear it on the plane so you don't have to put it in your suitcase. That's the only thing I can say because I'm the worst packer. How early should we buy plane tickets? It's now June, and if you know that you want to go somewhere in December, the flights might be really cheap right now, so you should just book them. But sometimes the prices drop like close to before. I have this app called Hopper, and it's basically saying if the flight prices are gonna drop or if they're gonna get higher. So download that app, I guess. This is not sponsored, by the way. Would be great if it was, but it's not. I just book flights when I know that I'm going because I don't really know. How do you choose the activities you're gonna do while you're traveling? Usually I make a list of things that I want to do when I go there. Like for Lisbon, me and my mom just wrote down the places we wanted to see, the things we wanted to do, and And something that I would really recommend is doing like a bike tour. I know that not everyone likes cycling. That's just a great way to explore a city. I think that's like the best way to explore a city. I really like that. So go on a bike tour. Just write down the things that you want to do and then see how much it is possible to do. But definitely make a list before you go and see if you need to buy tickets for something, because sometimes you can buy tickets for those things online and it might be cheaper. Basically just plan before you go on a trip what you want to do. Those were like the questions that I got. I got a lot of the same questions. Okay, so for now I have some of my personal tips. Okay, the first tip is to save up as much money as you can. The thing I usually do is like make kind of like a budget of the money that I think I'm gonna need, but then try to save a bit more than that, because you can always have expenses that you are not counting on. Things can be more expensive, or you suddenly have to buy something, or you want to do something extra, you know. Just always try to save up a little bit more than you think you're gonna need, so you are not like getting in trouble because you don't have enough money. That sounds really dramatic, but just save up as much as you can. Okay, the second tip is to try and share hostels or Airbnbs with people you know, because first of all, it's more fun if you know people, and second of all, it can be cheaper. While you're traveling, I get that people want like luxury and like actual hotels, but honestly, luxury is not what you need while you're traveling, because especially as a teen, you're on a budget and hotels are just so much more expensive than hostels or Airbnbs. Honestly, the only thing you do there is sleep. So why would you spend so much on having like a really cool thing? I just never understood why people want all that kind of luxury. I just need a bed to sleep on and I'm good. Try to share it with people so it can be cheaper. Like especially for Airbnb, it's cheaper if you share it, and for hostels it doesn't really matter. For hostels it's just more fun if you have people in the same room instead of people you don't know. The next tip is something that I actually mentioned like a minute ago, that you should find out what you want to do and what you want to see before you go on the trip. That's just saving up a lot of time, instead of when you get there you're gonna be like, oh, what do we even want to see, you know. Just try to figure it all out before you go. That just saves up a lot of time. Another tip is to check online what is the cheapest transportation. Sometimes online it's so much different than when you get there. Sometimes you can literally get like bus tickets online. For example, in Lisbon, I took the metro from the airport to the city center, which was €1.50 or something. But some other people who were on the same bike tour as us, they didn't know this because they didn't check it online, so they just called a taxi, which was like 25 euros. So I would really recommend checking everything online and see whatever is cheapest or most comfortable. So yeah. Okay, the next tip is something that's kind of obvious, and this is to find friends with the same passion as you, because if you find friends who like traveling too, you can travel with them, which is obviously more fun. I'm definitely not saying that traveling on your own isn't fun. I've never really traveled somewhere on my own. Technically Paris was traveling on my own, I don't really know, but I would definitely recommend finding friends with the same passion, because it's just so much more fun to travel with someone and then share the same passion. And the last tip is the most obvious thing ever, which is to enjoy it. Traveling can be really stressful at times, like missing your flight, missing your bus, something like that, but you should always remind yourself that you have to enjoy it and just make the most out of it. Those were all the tips that I wanted to share with you. If you have any other questions about traveling, just let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment down below what your favorite place you've ever traveled to is, because I'm really curious. Subscribe to my channel and I will see you next time. Bye bye!